Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Daily Antidote of Song. So delighted to have many of you with us here in the Zoom room, and many of you joining us via live stream on multiple platforms. What a delight to be back here. I'm Joe Janks, hosting today for Daily Antidote of Song. And our guest today is Juan Diaz, who is based in Chicago, one of the founders and longstanding album producers and, central creative members of Sones de Mexico. And we'll get back to Juan in a minute, but we're going to start saying hi to everybody here. So nice to see everybody. Kevin in D.C., Dory and Ali, Sandy and Brian and Jim in New York, Aloysius. Great to see you. 49 XWFU. All right. Yeah. Susan, Cincinnati. Great to see you. Hoda in British Columbia. Fantastic. Julie, great to see you. Kate. I can't see all of these locations, but I know some of you are joining us from Maryland and California. Arlene, great to see you. Cricket, great to see you. Nashville, Ann, good to see you. Storm, always good to see you. James, Kathleen in Albuquerque, and Sarah and Annette in California, and Jamie, and also in Victoria, BC, fantastic. And yeah, Chevy Chase, Maryland, I think representing there. Kathy, Sarah, and Annette in California. Yep, we got all this. The screen thing is weird. Those of you who have done this before. Fred, good to see you. Silver Spring represents. Ruth, UK. Birmingham, wonderful. Bob, good to see you. And Linda, Orcas Island, good to see Puget Sound representing there. Fantastic. Ann at Silver Spring. Bronwyn, Victoria. Wow, BC is totally representing here today. Good for you. Kat in Vermont. And Loriana. Does that say Courtney? Is that also BC? Could be. Can't quite see the... they're being a little obscure here on Zoom with text. But Suffolk, UK, representing. Jenny, great to see you. Don, Carolyn in DC, and so many more coming in here. Thanks for being with us today on the Daily Antidote of Song. Let's get right into our gathering here today. We've also got Joe Rossi and Issa Bartonwell and Elise Witt joining us from Tacoma Park. Great to see you all here today. And our guest today, our guest song leader, is Juan Diaz. He's based in Chicago, an extraordinary musician, performer, songwriter, community leader. He's been involved for a long time with the Old Town School of Folk Music. He's sat on the board of many music organizations in the Chicago area. He's been involved in NARAS, the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences community, the Grammy people, for those that don't know what NARAS is. And two of the records he's produced have been nominated for Grammys, which is spectacular. He brings a phenomenal cultural perspective and builds bridges everywhere he goes through music and through the power of the stories behind the music and the people behind the music. And he brings all of that to bear every time he's in front of a microphone for any reason. We're so delighted to have him join us today on the Daily Antidote of Song. Juan, please, thank you so much for being here and share with us what it is that you do so well.
Thank you, Joe. Can I hire you as my PR?
Absolutely.
Thank you for all the nice things you have to say. It's great to be here and great to be working with you for the first time. I've been on this daily before, but this time I was given a challenge. You know, we're celebrating this month. Three things, and I was able to find a song that could hit at least two of them. We're celebrating Father's Day and Juneteenth and Pride Month, right? So I searched for a song that could cover all three bases, but this is as well as I could do. It took me back to the 1970s. You remember the 70s when we had songs like "I Like the World to Sing" and "Perfect Harmony." Well, I grew up in Mexico, and we had a Spanish version of that, on television. And there was also a band back then. I'm sure many of you remember "Up with the People," right? A bunch of hipsters, young people gather around, and I learned this song in Spanish called "De qué color es la piel de Dios?" What color is God's skin? And it's a religious song. I was going to a Catholic school, and we learned that song, but I never really saw it as a religious song more than a song of unity and racial equity back in those days. And so we always enjoyed singing the chorus. So it's got a nice chorus. It's easy to learn in Spanish. I also brought the English version. So since we always play songs a couple of times, I thought I would sing it in English first, and then we could culminate with a Spanish version. So I don't know if we have that to display on the chat.
You can find that in the chat, Juan.
Is it already
You
up?
don't need it. I assume you've committed it to memory long since.
No, not for me. I mean, I want people to sing with me.
Yeah, it's in the chat for
It is?
everybody who's
Okay.
looking for it. Yeah.
Okay, there it is. I see it now. Jaden Brick put it up. Okay, great.
I also wanted to mention we'll get back into this, but we'll come back to your time at Earlham and a degree in anthropology because
yeah.
I think that's fascinating. But let's keep going with the song
Should we just get on with the song, then we can talk a little, and then
for sure.
we'll finish up with the Spanish version. So, good. It goes like this. You'll catch on real fast. Good night, I said to my little son, so tired out when the day was gone. Then he said, as I tucked him in, tell me, Daddy, what color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said black, brown, it's yellow, it's red and white. Everyone's the same in a good Lord's sight. He looked at me with those shining eyes. Well, I knew that I could tell no lies when he said, Daddy, what do the different races fight? If we're all the same in the good Lord's sight. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said black, brown, it's yellow, it's red and white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Son, that's a part of our suffering past, but the whole human family is learning fast. That's the thing we miss on the road we trod, walking as the daughters and sons of God. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said black, it's yellow, it's red and white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. What color is God's skin? What color is God's skin? I said black, brown, it's yellow, it's red and white. Everyone's the same in the good Lord's sight. Okay.
Beautiful.
You can imagine, a bunch of young people with long hair and bell bottoms, swaying from left to right, singing together.
Oh, that's fantastic. What a beautiful song and what a beautiful sentiment. It was making me think of Somos el Barco a little bit.
Yeah.
This spirit of connectivity and, that we are all together. So we'll come back to that song because it's a short song. I'm hoping we can sing that again before you leave us today. So you graduated from Earlham, the Quaker University in Indiana, with a degree in anthropology, and then you blossomed that into doing work internationally in Spain, in Kenya, in Mexico. You were born in Mexico. And every place you've gone, it seems you have picked up some piece of cultural knowledge and music and rhythm, and you keep stitching all of that into the quilt that is your artistry. Tell us a little bit how you chose anthropology and how that guided you into what you do, which is very much sort of in the spirit of ethnomusicology more than anthropology, and also obviously very gifted performer, a bass player primarily with your ensemble, as I understand it. But yeah, I'm just curious to know what the journey has been like for you, because you have lived such an interesting life in so many places.
Yeah, I think it's very perceptive of you to have picked that up from my bio, because it is a very important part of my artistry. I grew up in Mexico. I liked the music from a very young age. I started playing guitar, according to my mother, when I was about 6 years old. I don't remember a time in my life when I wasn't playing music. When I was 18 years old, my family moved to Indianapolis for a job of my father's, and we I was very excited about moving to the U.S. Because I there's a lot of music I liked from the U.S. And immediately I immersed myself into rock and roll, into jazz, folk music, finger picking, ragtime. It was a playground, like a candy store for me. It took about 8 years before I circled back into Mexican music. Somehow was not aware or sensitized to how little people know about Mexico in the United States, even though the U.S. only has two international borders, and there's so little knowledge. I don't know why it took me 8 years to figure it out, but I sensed that somebody had to tell people about how deep and rich is the culture from Mexico, beyond the stuff that we get in the news and in the John Wayne movies and those type of stereotypes, and Speedy Gonzalez cartoon, you know. Right around 1989, I circled back. I was studying ethnomusicology. Well, you asked about anthropology. I think I gravitated towards that. I wanted to be a biologist like my mother. I gravitated to anthropology because I felt it spoke to what I was feeling, living and adapting to a foreign country and trying to fit in. And at the same time, I did not want to abandon my own roots, and I ended up uh, figuring out that I didn't have to abandon anything, that I could have both, and not just two, because next my interest focused on Africa, and I wasn't so interested in Mexico because I already knew what I wanted to know, and I focused on Africa, and I spent some time in Eastern Africa. I've spent a year in Spain teaching guitar, and it all circled back into Mexican music, which is the group, the Sones de Mexico ensemble I formed with a colleague of mine in 1994. So we're going on 30 years now, and that's been the center of my activities. And I have not found it limiting to just focus on Mexican music, because it connects with, we've been able to play with musicians of all cultures, with blues musicians, jazz musicians, Chinese musicians, country and western. We've been played with Irish musicians, and it's been great to see the potential of this music.
What a beautiful thing. Yeah, like the rest of North America, there's so many different cultural influences in Mexico that it absolutely makes sense that you would have a natural dialogue with the same genres and roots music styles that have impacted the United States, have obviously impacted Mexican music. This, different indigenous cultures, but related to each other. So what a beautiful thing, and what a beautiful story, and what an amazing way to, I think, as a young person, I say as an outsider, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my sense is that there's a sense of disconnect. There must have been a sense of disconnect in moving to a new place, and a questioning of where do you belong, a donde pertenezco,
Yeah.
where's my place? How do I fit into all this? And what a beautiful thing that you chose music and the arts as a way of answering that question, and by proxy, making places welcome for other people. I think
Yeah,
that's
and
such
I could. It's
beautiful and healing
exploration
work.
that continues to this day. You know, I don't think I've I've settled yet. I
Yeah.
continue. There's a book I read when I was in college called The Professional Stranger, where the anthropologist has essentially become a professional stranger and makes a living from going to unfamiliar cultures in order to understand his own better.
Yeah. Yeah, and just so people know, we'll get back to this again before we wrap up for the day. But what's the best website for people to get more information about your music
Oh,
and Sones de Mexico?
yeah, we have sonesdemexico.com. It's simple, and we have a music school that has a guitar program and a violin program on Sundays that is done via Zoom. So we have in-person classes on Saturdays and Zoom class. So I have students from California, in Pennsylvania, Texas, Florida that join in. The classes are in Spanish. I mean, so you at least have to learn two things, guitar and Spanish, to join. But I figure there's enough offerings out there in English, so
Yeah.
that we
Yeah.
focus on that niche.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for the song. We'll cycle back to that in a little bit, but we have a special musical guest today as well as having Juan here. We also have Issei Barnwell. Issei, what a delight to have you here with us. As was mentioned, we are focusing this month in the Daily Antidote a song on Father's Day, on Pride, and on Juneteenth. And Issei, what a delight to have you here.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Taking it easy, enjoying life, having a good time.
Nice, nice, nice. And you have something musical to share with us today as well.
Well, somebody asked me to sing this song that I wrote some time ago. I'll try to remember it, but I'm going to put my lyrics here because I forget them since I don't sing it very often. So we'll see. Now, are you all going to sing some background for me?
Well, I think you should go ahead and just start and maybe.
Dum 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 dum. Can you do that?
Doom,
Dum
doom,
dum
doom,
dum
doom,
dum.
doom,
And that's all you
doom,
have to do.
doom, 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 doom,
Let's start
doom,
again.
doom,
Dum
doom,
dum 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 dum. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. I am sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. You used to rock me in the cradle of your arms. You said you'd hold me till the pains of life were gone. You said you'd comfort me in times like these, and now I need you. Now I need you. And you are gone. Since you've gone and left me, there's been so little beauty, but I know I saw it clearly through your eyes. Now the world outside is such a cold and bitter place, and here inside I have so few things that will console. And when I try to hear your voice above the storms of life, then I remember all the things that I've been told. Well, I am sitting here wanting memories memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Oh, I'm sitting here wanting memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world in my own eyes. I think on the things that made me go so beautiful when I was young. Well, I think on the things that made me feel laugh, sing. Well, I think on the things that made me feel like I was full of pride. I think on these things, oh yes, for they are true. Doom, 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 doom. Well, I'm sitting there wanting the memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Yes, I am thinking on these things that I see all the time. Want the memories to show up in my eyes. Your voice, your sound, your voice. I thought that you were gone, but now I know you're with me. You are the voice I hear that whispers in my ear. I know that peace, a thank you, and a go far. I know that here I am. I know that there you are. So I am sitting here wanting the memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes. Oh, I am sitting here wanting the memories to teach me to see the beauty in the world through my own eyes.
Ah, beautiful. Beautifully say. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Wow. When did you write that song?
Oh dear, it's been quite some years ago. And there's no date on here, so I'm not really sure. At
Well,
least 20 years ago.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a beautiful reflection
Thank
for
you.
all of our loved ones present and
Mm,
transitioned into the next iteration.
right, exactly. Exactly. Thank you. Thank
What
you
a
very
beautiful thing. Thanks for sharing that with us. And thanks for
much.
being here with us today as we have Juan Diaz representing here in the house. Also, we'd love to get back to singing his song once more before we wrap up. It's a short and beautiful song that ties in. But is there anything going on in your life, you say, that you want to share before we move on?
Not an awful lot. I'm just chilling these days.
Well, that's good. You've earned it.
That is good.
You've worked hard for the
My
privilege.
whole time like everybody else. And now I'm just sort of like they said.
What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful
Yeah.
thing. Well, thanks for being with us today on the Daily Antidote
Thank
Song.
you for having me. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody, and bye.
Yeah.
Hi, thanks
And
for that song.
yeah, Juan, we'll get you back up here on screen. And is there anything that you have coming up? Any projects that you're currently working on that you want to tell us a little bit about before we go back to your song?
Well, for those of you who are in the Chicagoland area, this Saturday I'm going to be playing a uh, a program called Cultural Connections with Saraswati Ranganathan. She's an Indian veena player from South India, and they're throwing us in the ring together to see what we can do. We can find any common denominators between Mexican music and South Indian music. So going to be rehearsing this evening for the first time. So we'll see what we come up with. I'm confident we'll find some great overlaps because I enjoy these.
Beautiful. And are you currently working on any recording projects?
Um, Not in terms of CDs or albums, but I have a lot of films that have been accumulating, and I would like to release about 5 concerts worth of that need a lot of editing and time. But I think people enjoy consuming music that way nowadays, like visually.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, good luck with that. I have some genuine appreciation for how many hours can get sunk into editing video and audio and making them play well together in the sandbox. So good luck with that. You can find out more about Sones de Mexico and more about Juan Diaz on sonesdemexico.com. SONESDEMEXICO.com. Sones de Mexico. And if you would be so kind as to grace us with this song one more time, since it's such a beautiful song, a beautiful sentiment, it would be great to just sing through the whole thing again.
Yeah. So again, this time I will do it in Spanish. So if you want to pull up the lyrics on the chat in Spanish this time, and just to make it a little longer and more fun, I'm going to repeat the chorus twice every time, so you all have a chance to sing along. It's a very catchy tune. Again, this was part of the repertoire of a group called Viva la Gente in Mexico, which was Up with the People here in the U.S. What color is God's skin? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Buenas noches, dije a mi hijo pequeño, cuando cansado se acostó. Entonces me dijo con clara voz, papá, ¿de qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. Con grandes ojos me miró y asombrado me preguntó, ¿por qué luchar a causa del dolor si todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. Dijo, eso es parte de un pasado infeliz, pero pronto eso llegará a su fin. Debemos aprender ahora por venir que todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. Dios nos ha dado otra oportunidad de crear un mundo de fraternidad. Las diferentes razas han de trabajar, unidas siempre de mar a mar. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? Dije negra, amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios. ¿De qué color es la piel de Dios? ¿De qué color es la piel? Amarilla, roja y blanca es. Todos son iguales a los ojos de Dios.
Ah, beautiful. Beautiful. Would you give us an English translation for those that don't speak Spanish of that last verse that ends always from sea to sea?
Oh, God has given us an opportunity to create a world of brotherhood, of all the races, that everyone must work together towards unity from sea to sea.
The part that really got me, I know just enough Spanish, was that everyone must work together for unity.
There was a
from sea to
beautiful
sea.
sentiment, I think, in the 70s about world unity. Somehow, our culture seems to fluctuate from one side of the spectrum to the other, and I think I felt we were in a really nice place back in those days. There was a lot of chanting for peace and spirituality and brotherhood of mankind.
Beautiful sentiments. And as we continue to widen the circle and make sure that not just our sentiment, but our spirits include everything that represents, we honor Pride Month here on the Daily Antidote, a song, LGBTQ plus communities, the queer community. We honor the BIPOC community. We honor all communities from around the world and welcome the knowledge that you have to share with us here on the Daily Antidote of Song. Juan
And,
Diaz, thank you so much.
If I may, just to send a little greeting to my parents who are on the Zoom from Mexico. They're over there, they're waving, and happy Father's Day, Dad.
What a beautiful thing. Thanks for doing that. Everybody, it's time to wrap up another wonderful episode of the Daily Antidote of Song, hosted by Carpe Diem Arts. Thanks to all of you joining us through streaming platforms. Thanks to all of you here in the Zoom room with us. Thanks to Joe Rossi. Yes.
Hey, can we just highlight Juan's parents for a minute on the screen?
Oh, by all means.
Juan. Jaden, yeah, there you go. Hello, Juan's parents. We're so glad to meet you. Thank you for coming all the way from Mexico, and happy Father's Day from all of us to you. Thank you for making Juan. He's amazing, and we love him.
What a beautiful thing. That's great. Jaden running tech for us today. Thank you so much for your work. Juan Diaz, thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with your concert this weekend in Chicago. And everybody keep an eye out for tour dates for Sonos de Mexico. And record albums, again, some of those Grammy-nominated albums that I talked about are available through their website. And I'm sure that they are present on all social media platforms. Again, thanks to Carpe Diem Arts and the Daily Antidote of Song. Thanks to Issa Barnwell for joining us, Elise Witt and Joe Rossi being the harmony singers there. And thank you all for bringing your beautiful hearts to this project. This has been going every day since the beginning of the pandemic. And as we all rise back into the world in our own ways, in different ways, we continue to remember daily at noon on the Daily Antidote of Song the power of music to heal and transform and uplift, and the power music has to help us feel connected in this beautiful way that Juan was singing about, from sea to sea as we build, from all seas to all seas, as we build greater unity and community through understanding the nature of diversity as well, as we uplift and celebrate our uniqueness and our differences in so many ways. Big shout out to all the fathers out there and all the nurturers who fill the role of fathers. We hold you especially this week, and we thank you for the loving kindness that you put in the world. And we bid adieu for the moment and hope to see you again tomorrow. Somebody should have somewhere a little flyer that tells us precisely what day of the Daily Antidote song this is. It's often up on the screen. I don't see it, but it's like, we're like, what, 1,280 or something now? 1,300, 1,400, I've lost track. But it's been an amazing thing, and thank you for supporting the Daily Antidote song. If you want to see archived episodes of the Daily Antidote song, you can find those through day 1158. There we are. Thank you very much. Daily Antidote song, day 1158. Archived episodes are up online. You can look for that. And please continue to join us through whatever streaming service you use or in the Zoom room every day at noon. We'll start saying goodbye. Juan, again, thank you so much for being with us. Issei, thank you for being with us. Elise and Joe Rossi, thank you. Jaden, thanks for all of your work today. Kevin and DC, Dory, it says maybe. I'm not sure what that means. Who knows? I saw that gesture. That was lovely. Susan and Deli and Cricket, thank you. And Berkeley, I see in the house, but Zoom is covering. So Ann in Nashville, James and Kathleen in Albuquerque, Sarah, thanks for joining us. Annette in California, Kathy and Fred in Silver Spring, Ruth, Birmingham, Bob, thanks for being with us. Linda on Orcas Island, Nancy with the Red Cow, Deborah Ann, Steve, Bob again. Here we are. Jenny in Suffolk, Moon, Alexandria, Virginia, Aloysius, thanks for joining us. Curly Tops, fantastic. Sandy, Jane in Texas. I was just in Texas, down at the Kerrville Folk Festival. Bonnie out in Boise. Gary and Carolyn in DC. Storm, always great to see you. Jamie in Victoria, BC. Kat. What a treat to be here with all of you today. Thank you so much. And we'll say goodbye to our streaming folks now and give them all a good wave. And we'll see you all